Hey guys, what's up? Derek, one part of the Fat Podcast. It's a handful of guys just working behind the scene. I'm just one of the guys in front of the camera, and I help create or brainstorm some of our talking points and some of the topics that we talk about. But I'm not, starting my own shit, but I wanted to get on here, get on YouTube, get on Instagram Live, Instagram TV, whatever, and kind of, I guess, just give just my unfiltered opinion on some of the things. Maybe as a follow up to the Fat Podcast, and hopefully in the future, fingers crossed, talk about some other stuff. I got to learn about it first though. So I guess this first one is about diet because I myself am starting to cut so I can step on stage in June for the Maryland. And so, just I guess the last time I stepped on stage was in October 2017, and I took an extended off season in 2018. I wanted to compete, but mentally I wasn't there. Some personal shit. It was like my relationship was going through a really rough patch. But that's good. And then I wanted to compete in 2019, and I just dropped the ball. I changed too many things, and I changed too many things in my diet, changed too many things in my supplements. So I really couldn't, piggyback off of all the information and all the stuff I learned in my first two shows. And in addition to that, my job was more stressful. They were having me, do more work. Well, not do more work, but I was traveling, and I wasn't used to that. And trying to stay on track and find a gym up there. And, I mean, it was a bit more stressful because I was an engineer, and then I was trying to be a project manager. So they had me kind of doing like a junior PM role at our plant up in Boston, or outside of Boston. And in addition to that, I was training myself, like three people at the time. So I just wasn't used to any of that, and it was too many variables to throw in there. So I ended up just messing up 2019. And what I should have done, what would have been smarter, is I think life was a little bit easier back in June of 2019, in the summer of 2019. So what I should have done, and I was kind of lean in, I should have just rode that wave and just kept on getting lean and just been extra shredded for my beach trip in August. I felt I looked good, but what I should have done was just, dieted harder in the summertime rather than just, pissing around, wait until September and trying to do an 8-week cut. I don't know why I've done that in the past. It's really stupid. It's really stressful to do an 8-week cut. I mean, if you 8-week cut, dropping 25, 30 pounds, you definitely are having those bird ass macros, doing a fuck ton of cardio. And I'm a heavy guy anyway. By nature, I just kind of blow up. It's real quick for me to get fat. So I'd have to do. I think I was going with this. Like, really, the only thing that works for me to lose weight is the step mill. So imagine doing an hour of the step mill in the morning before work, doing your job, like rushing to the gym to train yourself real quick for an hour or 90 minutes on my leg day. I kind of situated shit so that my leg day, which takes the longest because of squats, and deadlifts too. If y'all follow me on Instagram, you know that I think only things I really post on there is squats and deadlifts on a consistent basis. But those are my two favorite lifts. So I'd wake up, do an hour on the step mill, then run off to work, do my 9 to 5, then run to the gym, train myself for about an hour or hour and a half. Then I'd, shovel down food real quick, then, handle clients, or drive to another gym to train clients. And then after that, either, stay at that gym and do cardio, another hour of cardio, or try to give myself a break, mental break. Drive to Planet Fitness on my way home, and do an hour of cardio there before I actually get home, get into bed, man. So, um, fuck, I lost my train of thought. Uh, at any rate, just a little background too. I've done two shows in the past. 2016, May 2016 was my first show. Placed second in Classic Physique. Did my second show October 2017, and I placed first in Classic Physique in my class. I won the overall for Classic Physique in that show, and I placed third in bodybuilding because I think it was like two or three poses I just couldn't get. That rear lat spread, front lat spread. The lat spreads messed me up big. I think with the rear lat spread, I actually like almost fell over. I didn't get my footing right, and I was kind of tilted, cocked to the side. So they came out and told me like, bro, get your posing ready for bodybuilding. Get it better. But so this year the plan is to win the Maryland and Classic Physique, and then just keep on with the program until I guess just do a streak of pro qualifiers. I mean, yeah, pro qualifiers. No, yeah. So I could turn pro. The goal is just to turn pro. I think after the Maryland, I think it's NPC, Teen U, and then there's another show soon after that too, where I could turn pro. So basically, this is going to be my season, my year to dedicate towards turning pro. Right now I'm like 6 foot 240 right now. Not as fat as I've been in the past going into a show, so fingers crossed it's gonna be easy, but I know it's not. And that's what I wanted to talk about today, is like, trying to rethinking of like my last two shows and dieting, understanding that, as much as I want it to be easier with every show, I realize it's not. You have more muscle mass, and I love to eat. I'm a fat boy at heart, and I naturally just get bigger. So I gotta do double work just to I gotta do work just to maintain, and I gotta do double work to lose. And I just hate the fucking cut. I hate cutting calories. So inherently with that, no matter whether you're trying to lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 10 pounds, probably you don't got to do too much suffering. But I say once you start to aim above 15 pounds of fat loss, or if your goal is 15 pounds of pure fat loss or 10 pounds of pure fat loss, it's going to come with suffering. And I'm differentiating that between water weight and like glycogen. I mean, it's just going to be painful. You will be hungry. Some things that you can do. My girlfriend told me that I was forever just drinking like 0-calorie energy drinks, or fucking 0-calorie like diet sodas, and the chemicals in them, I don't know what's in them, but I know it's bad. I know from my very first show, I actually hit a weight loss plateau at like 200 pounds, and I just couldn't drop it. And my coach asked me what I was taking and what I was doing. I think once, and I said nothing, but because in my eyes, brand new to it, I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. But I was having these 0-calorie, the monsters, and once I took those out, I was able to, I'm sorry, it wasn't 200. I had a plateau at like 212. I couldn't get below it, and it was for like 4 weeks. And he finally asked me like, all right, this is, you're not cheating on your diet, but something is wrong. What else are you taking? What else you like using? Are you using any supplements? And I was like, no, I'm not using anything. And he seen me go to the refrigerator at the gym and buy an energy drink right before we started training. He was like, that's what it is. And that's what he said in cleaner terms. And he said I had to drop that. I didn't drop it going into my second show, but I still had that water retention problem. I did hit a plateau, but I was under my weight limit anyway, and I was still getting leaner just slowly. Eventually I did drop them and just switched to caffeine pills. to get my fix. But it's something about that carbonation that helps you feel full. So my girl was like, oh, where's the camera? Right here. So I just go get seltzer water, if you can see it. 0 calories in the whole bottle. It's nothing in here but carbonated water, and that's really what I need. It's like a quick fix. I'll put, so by itself it's nasty as fuck. I just tried it, but I'll squirt some key lime juice in it, or she told me to put fruit in it. I will do it eventually, but I'm gonna put key lime juice in it or apple cider vinegar. Just to give it a different taste. And a lot of people don't like apple cider vinegar, but I don't mind it. I will say this though, when I was going into my second show, I would take a shot of that before I did my fasted cardio in the morning. Then I would do cardio at lunch. So I just fast, and I was taking ECA too. And I found a way to get everything you need to make ECA or do ECA. So I was doing that. So I took it in the morning, and I waited a couple hours and stayed fasted and took it at lunch. So the caffeine and the apple cider vinegar really helped to suppress my appetite and keep me from getting too lightheaded. I think the caffeine just kind of like probably just constricted my blood vessels, so it made it easier to just kind of push through. And I wouldn't have my first meal until like 1 in the afternoon, and have another meal at like 3 or 4 o'clock, and then go train, and then have a meal after right immediately after I train, and then have another meal like 2 hours after I train, or an hour after, or hour and a half, 2 hours after that, and then do fasted cardio or cardio at night. This time around, unfortunately, it comes with the territory. It's pain. It's a lot of pain and sacrifice with this stupid hobby that I'm obsessed with, and being on stage. So, there's suffering involved. If you're going to be good, it's going to be suffering involved. So I will probably do intermittent fasting. I don't like saying I don't like to tell people I fast, because it's really not like I'm choosing to fast. Like I said, as a fat boy, I'd rather just eat everything. But I will not fall asleep if I don't have food in my stomach at night. So, but I'm basically just doing is trying to, and I only have, I think this year I made my own diet. In 2017 I made my own diet. I ran it by my coach, and this year I made my own diet again, and I ran it by my coach. It's got carb cycling in it this time. I'm gonna do 2 days off, 1 day of carbs. It's not a lot of carbs. It's I think a total of 12 ounces of sweet potato. So 6 ounces in one meal, 6 ounces in another meal. So 2 days off, 1 day on, 2 days off, 1 day on. Gonna see how that goes. So far, so good. No big deal. But yeah, so I had 5 meals, but I weighed 20 pounds more than what I started last time I did a show. No, I weighed 10 pounds more. So yeah, last time I started the show I was 230, but that was like real fat. And this time around I'm 240, and I'm not really fat. By the end of my workout, my abs, like you can start to see the outline of all my abs. So I will be doing intermittent fasting, because I need that last meal before I go to bed. What else? Oh, the biggest thing, I'll put a timestamp. Should have said that in the beginning. I'll put a timestamp. I'll try to figure out how to do it, put a timestamp in there, and so y'all guys can just go to this. But the very simple way, whether you're a bodybuilder or whether you're just a regular person trying to lose a couple pounds, to diet, and people are going to hate it. I really don't understand why. You ask, regular person, what food did they eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and more times than not, they're going to rattle off to you the same kind of food. So if I think it's just the fact that I'm telling you, or somebody's quote unquote forcing you to eat the same foods every day, that it kind of locks you in. I feel like people get a hang up about that, but I'm like, all right, you eat chicken every day, you eat eggs eggs and oatmeal every day for breakfast, or eggs and something, or just standard, um, just typical stuff. And most people lunch is some variation of the same meat. It's gonna be chicken, uh, or beef, or fish. I mean, we eat the same foods all the time. You look at your grocery cart every week. I'm pretty sure it's eventually you'll realize that it's standardized. Like you go and gravitate towards the same foods. So I really don't understand why people can't diet. But ultimately, the shortcut to figuring out how to diet, you're gonna get a scale, get a food scale, or figure out some way to track your portions. Um, Step on the scale every day, first 7 days. Eat the same foods. Try to eat them at about the same time every day, and do the same activity that you normally would. This is just establishing a baseline. Uh, so for me, what that looks like is 2 chicken meals: chicken asparagus, chicken broccoli, the whack boringest meals ever. I have beef and zucchini noodles. Then I have another beef and bell peppers, mixed bell peppers, and then I'll have salmon and, let's say, spinach, sauteed spinach, or kale or something. But those will be my 5 meals. I'll eat them. Uh, Try to eat them at roughly the same time every day for 7 days. Weigh myself on the scale. I see that my weight doesn't change. And that's with training 5 days a week. So I have like my baseline. I stay at 2. So when I eat these 5 meals, 7 days in a week, doing just weight training for my normal routine, 5 days a week. Let's say anywhere between an hour and a half and 2 hours. At the end of the week, or every day of the week, I'm 240. Wake up 240, go to sleep more, but wake up like the next day, I'm 240. This is your baseline. What you want to do from now that you have like your baseline established, what you want to do first, I'd say keep your food as high as possible. So you want to increase the cardio after you weight train, or if you're a regular person, do it after you weight train. You probably got a job, got friends, want to hang out, all that bullshit. If you're a bodybuilder, get your ass up, do it 12 hours apart from your training. So if you train at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m., do your cardio after work. Do 20 minutes, 30 minutes of cardio after work. If you're a fat person, start at 30. If you're a leaner individual, probably start at 20. Or if you're a super busy bodybuilder, just do it right after you do your workouts. The only reason I'm saying separate them as much as possible, there's the interference effect, which you weight train and then you do your hard cardio. You don't really get good at either one of them. Your body has it's kind of like fighting for adaptation. Like, which one am I going to get better at? To be better at cardio, I got to drop the muscle and the fat. To be better at weights, I need to keep the muscle. It helps if I'm going to do this again. I want to make it easier. It helps to be in a calorie surplus. It helps to be fatter, to be stronger. So that's why it's just like an interference effect. It's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. But if you want to maximize your muscle retention or muscle gain, and maximize your fat loss, you probably want to. I'd say you want to separate them apart. I'll wake up and do my cardio fasted with ECA or whatever, or none, because right now I'm not doing anything. I'll wait until I actually, and I don't use ECA all the time. What I'll do is I'll try to make sure I can lose the first 15 pounds or 10 to 15 pounds on my own. That way I know that my calories are in check. I know my calories are in check. I know my cardio was in check. And then I'll throw in that burn, at the end of the day, it'll, garner me an extra 5 pounds of fat loss, give or take. But so if you establish your baseline for a week, you started implementing cardio 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or 40 minutes or whatever, one time a day, then you're just gonna just ride that out. Once you hit a plateau there and you don't lose any more fat, all you're going to do, you're going to increase the cardio more so you can have another session. You can extend your time. If you're doing 20 minutes, go to 30. If you're doing 30, go to 40. If you're doing 40 or 45, go to an hour if you can. Or at that point, I would just break it up into a whole different session. I don't want to do more than 45 minutes at a time. It's hard to find shit to watch on YouTube while you're doing cardio or listen to that's entertaining. I tried the audiobooks, and I'm the type of person that I guess a audiobook is hard because I'll be listening and then I'll get lost in my own thoughts. And next thing you know, 20 minutes have passed by. I don't know what the hell I just listened to or heard. It's just been noise in my ear. Um, uh, so, once you hit that first plateau from just doing one session of cardio, you know, I'd say to keep your food as high as possible. I'd say, add in, 20, add an additional block of time, whatever it is, to either after you train or at a different point in time. So how that looked for me in my second show was I did it in the morning, I did it at lunch, then I weight trained, then I did it at night. And I didn't start there. First I started off with just doing morning cardio and then training in the evening. Then I did morning cardio and before cardio right before bed while still training in the evening. And then I did then when I was like really getting paranoid, like, oh, I'm not losing enough fat, then I started doing faster cardio in the morning, taking my lunch break to do faster cardio again, and then doing the weight training and cardio at night. Damn, already made this joint 20 minutes. So at some point in time, you're gonna wanna. It would be wise to just cut the food. So let's say after you hit your second plateau, after adding in the second session of cardio, I'd say try to cut your food. If you have carbs in your diet, go ahead and cut those down. If you don't have carbs in your diet, if you're doing keto and you hit a fat loss, this is the point. Like, I could tell you some stuff, but I was like, just talk to your coach, talk to whoever is helping you do a diet. If you're doing your own diet and you started off with no carbs and now you hit a plateau and you have no carbs, it's not the end of the world. What I ended up doing going into the last couple of weeks of my prior show, and the diet that I'm doing now wasn't the same. I know in my first diet in 2017, I had 4 meals, and I had 4 solid food meals, and I had that's right. I started off having a shake and maybe like 2 ounces of nuts. I was doing like 1 ounce of walnuts and 1 ounce of pistachios. So as I got closer to my show, by the time I started doing that, I think when I was doing 3 sessions of cardio a day, I was still eating the walnuts and having the protein shake and the pistachios. So maybe like month or 3 weeks out, that's when I had to cut the pistachios, the pistachios, that protein shake, and the walnuts. So I took those out, and in order to make sure that my protein was still high, I got one of those isopures because it's supposedly just 40 grams of protein and nothing else, no fat, no carbs. So I was getting the isopures just to make sure that my protein stayed high. I can't remember off the top of my head. I guess I was expecting myself to be 200 pounds, so I kept my protein for that diet at like 220, which is what you want to do. If you're trying to preserve muscle, stay in a positive nitrogen balance as you're dieting for the stage. I keep bouncing back and forth between stage and regular people, but for the stage folks, for the bodybuilders, you want to keep your protein high. That way you don't lose any of the muscle mass, or lose as little muscle mass as possible. But that's really, to be honest with you, and try to wrap this thing up before a 25-minute mark. That's it, man. Eat the same thing as best you can at the same time every day, regardless of what else is going on in your life. If you can eat it real quick, your meals ain't supposed. If you're living this lifestyle, you don't need 20 minutes to eat a meal. You can put that thing down in like 5 to 10 minutes. It ain't a lot of food anyway. So eat the same foods, standardize like your food so you know what you're eating at all times. You don't have to think about what you want to eat because you already have your prepackaged food with you or at home. So you know what you're going to eat, you know what time you're going to eat. Just standardize that, run it for a week, figure out your base weight, add in cardio on top of your weight training at a different time of the day so you can preserve as much muscle mass as possible. Once you hit a fat loss plateau there, you start to see the scale, and that's the other thing too. I wouldn't say weigh yourself every day. After that point, you might go psychotic, or if you're strong minded enough, you can weigh yourself every day just to keep tabs on it. Um, no, but my general rule for everybody else is like, don't weigh yourself every day. Uh, so once you add the cardio, you recognize that after maybe like 2-3 weeks, you haven't broken through that plateau. Go ahead, because sometimes your body is slow to respond, and it's stubborn. It'll stay there, filling the fat cells with water, just to have like a placeholder. But it's praying for the day that you slip up and like in binge eat, and then it'll drop the water and fill those fat cells up with fat again. But if you hold out long enough, it'll get rid of it'll drop the water, and the fat cells will just shrink, because nothing is coming in. Uh, so go ahead, just hold out, hold tight. If you don't see any fat loss, I'd say after 2 weeks anymore, or the weight or the number on the scale dropping after 2 weeks after you hit a plateau, then you can either add more cardio at a different time of the day or after you train, or you can cut calories. My first suggestion is always going to be do more cardio, because you want to keep your calories as high as possible. And what you can also do is start to shift your calories around your workout, and that's where you kind of slowly start to dip into intermittent fasting. Even though I don't like saying that people are doing intermittent fasting, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a tool. It works until it doesn't. At the end of the day, if you do intermittent fasting and your BMR and your whole daily activity comes out to be 3,000 calories, but somehow or another you fit in 4,000 calories a day and intermittent fast, it doesn't matter. You're still eating 1,000 calories more than what you're supposed to, so you're gonna get fat. And that's why intermittent fasting works until it doesn't. I experienced it. I lived that life. It works until it doesn't. So that's it's really simple. Every time you hit a plateau, take a little bit of food away. Take away some of the carbs first. If you are running a keto diet, you're gonna have to chop away those fats. As long as your fats don't dip below 50 as a natural person, you should be good, like 50 grams, or as a guy. So let me say that. If you're a guy, 180 to like 220, I'd say probably having 50 grams of fat is enough to keep your hormones straight. They won't be good if you're trying to step on stage, but they won't be bad. You will be tired throughout this process because you're not getting food and you're working yourself to death, essentially. What else? You just got to deal with that pain. It's a painful process. Whatever you're trying to do, your body doesn't. So whatever you're trying to do when it comes to losing weight, your body wants to be a certain weight, and once you try to force it up beneath that weight, it's just not gonna like it. It's gonna send out hunger signals. You're gonna get hangry. You're gonna be an asshole until you eat. You just got to deal with it. Try to have self-control. Probably meditate. Find some zen in your life. Come to terms with the fact that you signed up for this, and be at peace with the process. Don't be an asshole to everybody else. And rinse, wash, and repeat. Hit a plateau, take away more calories, or do more cardio. After you're doing 2 hours of cardio a day, you're really going to be hard pressed to find any more. I'd say it becomes really difficult to do any more cardio and keep your weight training up. At that point, probably I'd just be like, yeah, you're going to have to cut the calories. But that's it. Fat loss is really simple. It is a calorie balance equation at the end of the day. Hormones do get involved, but unless your shit is like way out of whack, you should probably be good. If you start off with a good hormonal state, I won't worry too much about the hormones. Keep your. Oh, I didn't say the women. Men, 50 to 60 grams of protein. Of fats per day, just to keep your hormones straight. Women, because women have lower body weight in general. Doesn't matter if it's fat or muscle. Typically, women they just weigh less. They're smaller creatures, so they don't need as much. I feel like they could probably get away with 20 to 30 grams of fat minimum per day and be straight. I should look into that. There's actually an equation uh, from somebody I listened to um, about this stuff, but I'll dig it up. Look, I ain't about to dig it up. Let me just say now, women 20 to 30. Just take my word for it. I think that's it. Do your own research to verify it, but that should be it. All right, I'm pushing 30 minutes. Y'all have a good one.